All right, hey, it's Rob with that never-ending video series, Every CD I Own. This is episode 16, or more specifically, disc 16. I'm putting them aside in a pile as I go through them. And this is the Motels Apocalypso. This is kind of an oddball release on Omnivore Records. On Omnivore Records, they do a lot of releases that kind of flew under the radar the first time. They do a lot of like compilations and things like that, reissues. That's what I'm trying to think of. So they reissue records from bands who maybe the first time around didn't get a fair shake or whatever. Anyway, this was never issued. This is actually an early version of the Motels record All for One, which I believe came out in 1982. It had, of course, Only the Lonely, which was a huge hit, and Take the L. Well, this was kind of the prototype for that, Apocalypso, and it has a lot of the songs that you find on All for One: Art Fails, Tragic Surf, Only the Lonely, Mission of Mercy, great song, and then a few other songs which did not end up on All for One. And basically what happened is they submitted this to the record company as their next release. I believe this would have been the third Motels release. And the record company says, yeah, it's okay, but if you put this out, we're not going to do anything with it. So they had to go back and do a little bit of retooling. They shuffled around some band members, I believe. There's a guy named Tim McGovern, who pretty much was responsible for a lot of these songs and the arrangements and stuff, a guitar player. He also was dating Martha Davis at the time. They broke up, and as it happens, when you're dating somebody in the band and you break up, you know, it's tough to remain in the band unless you're Fleetwood Mac. But anyway, so Tim McGovern was out, and when he left, then they had to go back and pretty much rebuild this album from scratch. I believe Tragic Surf, they said, was the only song they left in the form that you hear it here on Apocalypso. Everything else was either redone, re-recorded, or whatever for the most part, or new songs are added, like Take the L, which became a big hit off of All for One as well. This was recorded at Record One, where I used to work. Same studio where Michael Jackson recorded the Dangerous record. This is a recording studio in Sherman Oaks, California, on Ventura Boulevard. It's called Record One. It is still there to this day. I need to get back there and check it out because I haven't been there in many, many decades. But anyway, produced and possibly engineered, produced by Val Garay, at least, and Val Garay had done Betty Davis Eyes. Val owned Record One Studios. It was his place, and did a lot of his own records there. This is one of the bigger records that came out with the Motels All for One, and this, like I said, was kind of the precursor to that. So this release itself has 3 different versions of Only the Lonely, an instrumental version, which is like a Easter egg bonus track at the end. It has like the 4-track demo of Only the Lonely, and right there on the top you can see the 3rd song, Only the Lonely, as it would have appeared on this album, Apocalypso. They're not great versions instrumentally. They really like tightened everything up and fixed a lot of the problems that I see with this record. So they kind of stripped it down and, you know, found the parts that really were integral to the songs the second time around. And there's this whole story of, you know, what happened with the record, and a few pictures in here, and, you know, why it didn't get made, you know, and released in the original form, owing to, like I said, the fact that they got rid of the band member, the guitar player, some original documentation, lyrics, that kind of stuff. So overall, a cool release if you like All for One, which is an album that I do like. And it's not a great album. The songs are not great, but it's just got a kind of like a cool vibe. And I mean, the songs that are good on there are really good. They're, you know, Only the Lonely, of course, is a classic, and Take the L, and Mission of Mercy, and there's a couple other really good songs on there. There are some songs that are just not that strong, I think, on that record, but overall, because of the sound and the way they're produced, it's a really listenable album. You can just bring it from the top to the bottom, and it's kind of interesting. It has different stylistic things that are, you know, weaving through the 2 sides of the record. And yeah, so It's an interesting story that, they got a second chance. A lot of bands do not get that. And if it would have been released like this, I think their career would have been very different. I think this might have been the last we ever heard of them. But it's a pretty cool release. If you like I said, the band The Motels, if you like Only the Lonely or whatever, you can kind of hear where they started with those songs on Apocalypso on Omnivore Records. All right, that's what I got for you today. Thanks. Later.